So I wanted to sit down today and record and share this beautiful, beautiful experience I had with the Holy Spirit. This was I think it was 2 years ago, and it was right around Christmas time. And this was right when I came back to the Lord. This was quite literally maybe a few months, 6 months tops, after I came back to the Lord, after running in the world from the age of 19 till about 32. And I was visiting my mom and my dad, and I was at my mom's house, and my sister and brother-in-law were in town from Seattle. And my mom lives in West Michigan, and my mom and dad live in West Michigan, and we were going to visit the east side of the state, Detroit area, because that's where my dad's family's from, the following day. And I went to sleep. My sister and brother-in-law were sleeping upstairs in the spare bedroom, so I was sleeping on the couch downstairs. And the following morning, the morning we were going to go to Detroit, I was in the process of waking up, and I wasn't I wasn't fully awake yet. I was kind of in that in between state of asleep, awake. So I was semi-conscious. I think it's a theta brainwave state. And in this state, I was incredibly peaceful. And I just felt the Holy Spirit visit me and just completely surround me. And as I was laying on the couch, I felt this warm sensation over my entire body, from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. And I was just sitting there, and I could literally feel the peace, the presence, the serenity, the harmony of the Holy Spirit, and it was magical. It was like a weighted blanket meets a heated blanket meets a massage meets everything. My body was in such a perfect state of peace and presence. And I was in this semi-conscious state. And what was so beautiful about that is that was the physical experience I was having, but I was also having a spiritual experience where I quite literally felt the Holy Spirit's presence, and all of these prayers for my family, for my dad's family, were just channeling through me. The Holy Spirit was quite literally downloading prayers into my heart for my father's side of the family, which we were going to visit later that day. And as I sat there or laid there in God's presence, I just remember it was probably maybe 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes tops. But as I sat there, as I laid there, I just felt this overwhelming peace and serenity and harmony, and just the most beautiful. I've experienced a lot of substances in my life, beyond alcohol, right? The different party things, the psychedelic things, you name it, and nothing compared to this perfect peace, this perfect presence. It was so pure and so real and so true. And as I sat there, and laid there, I keep saying sat there, as I laid there, it went on for maybe 5 or so minutes, and all these prayers were just flowing through me, flowing through my spirit. And once again, I would say I was in a theta brainwave state. And as I awakened from that state, the very first, this is where it gets even more supernatural, and it just continues to get even more supernatural as the Holy Spirit revealed himself to me. The very first waking thought that I had consciously was this: I wonder what would happen if my dad didn't go to the family get-together today. Now, mind you, I am 32, I think, at this point. My dad, as far as I know, has never, not 1 year, missed a family get-together, with his family, with his brothers, sisters, cousins, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, grandma, who's since passed, but he's never missed a family get-together. But my first waking conscious thought, which once again wasn't me consciously, even though I was conscious, it was the Holy Spirit was revealing to me, I wonder what would happen if my father didn't go to the family get-together today. So later that morning, maybe an hour or two later, everyone else is up. We're all, chatting, whatever. My dad calls us, my sister and me, and he goes, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it to the family get-together today because Judy, who is my stepmom, she's not feeling well." And I thought, wow, that's crazy. Here I had the Holy Spirit implant all of these prayers for my family in my spirit, and the first conscious thought I had was when my dad, doesn't come to the family get together, he calls and tells us this. And so we, my brother-in-law, my sister and me, Eric, Rebecca, and myself, we drive from Grand Rapids to Detroit later that day, about midday. And when we get there, my whole family is kind of gathering, and my dad is a pastor. So, and even before my dad was a pastor, my dad is the only adult believer. Actually, I'm sorry, there's another one, his sister, but she lives in Florida and we don't see her much. But really the only one that shows up to the family gatherings that is a believer in Michigan is my father. So every get together, I'm talking like Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're like, hey Ken, can you pray? So my dad is sort of like this, I hate to say it, but like a spiritual crutch for my family because they don't have a walk with God, so they rely on him for prayer. So we get there, we arrive, and the family's chatting, this and that. And then my Aunt Marie turns to me right before we're all about to eat. Like the food's ready, everyone's, chatting, everyone's talking, having a good time. And my Aunt Marie looks at me and goes, hey David, can you pray for the family since your dad isn't here? My jaw dropped to the floor. Inside. On the outside, I was like, God, what are you doing? And mind you, I was like a baby Christian at this point. And my walk with God still wasn't that strong, to be quite honest with you. I was still sort of in the process of releasing and removing worldly habits from my life. And I wasn't fully living righteously. So, but that encounter that I had with God this morning, that beautiful encounter with the Holy Spirit, where the Holy Spirit was just dwelling within me, on me, and my entire body was just at such a peace and such a harmony. And really, to understand the peace that surpasses all understanding, I get it because I experienced that for the first time that morning. So oddly enough, I was still sort of like shy about my faith to some degree, sort of bashful, and I didn't really feel comfortable praying. So I looked at my sister Rebecca, who has been a believer many more years than me, and I said, hey Rebecca, do you want to pray for the family? And she goes, no. And I go, well, maybe we could all pray. I'm trying to like skate out of it, and it didn't work. So everyone's just kind of like, and I'm like, okay, I'll pray. So I pray for the family, and I don't remember what the prayer was. I honestly don't remember at all. I guess it was just the Holy Spirit praying through me still, and the Holy Spirit prepped me literally that morning. So I prayed for my family, and I could tell in my spirit it was a beautiful prayer because it was just aligned with what the Holy Spirit had desired, because the Holy Spirit had already revealed it to me that morning. So as the prayer concluded, I finished the prayer, and two of my cousins, Hannah, who's already a believer, and Jennifer, who is just an amazing cousin of mine, has a really sweet spirit, they both came up to me and they're like, oh, that prayer was so amazing, and they're like, thank you, this and that. And it was just like a very heartfelt, warming sort of moment, and it was just cool that like it touched them. And my Aunt Marie was like, wow, like after I was done praying, she's like, wow, this is so amazing. She's like, you prayed just like your dad. And I was like, I don't know about that, but okay, cause it's real. I promise you, it's not me. It's literally the Holy Spirit. And I kind of knew it at that time because I had that experience that morning, but it was so radical and so transformative and so new to me for the Holy Spirit to visit me like that and to quite literally inhabit my body, to inhabit my being, to change the state of my biology, my brain chemistry, my nervous system, and to feel so in tune with the Holy Spirit that was so new to me. So it was just beautiful because, one of the things I've learned in my walk with God in the last 2-3 years now is that the more you commune with the Father, the more you read your word, the more you pray, the more you stay in prayer, the more you pray in the Spirit, the more you press into what God has for you, the more intuition, the more discernment, the more insight, and the more visitation you'll receive from the Holy Spirit. So all of these beautiful experiences that, I've had many beautiful encounters with the Holy Spirit ever since that day. They have been so rich and so fulfilling. And for me, my heart's desire, I want to see my family come to know Christ, because most of my family was raised Catholic. Most of my family was raised Catholic or just not in the church at all. So there really isn't that close connection to the Holy Spirit and the understanding of who God is and what he has for them. And for me, that's a big desire in my heart, is to see my family come to know Christ, but also for my friends to come to know Christ, because I have a lot of friends who live in the world, who party, who go to festivals, who drink, who do drugs, you name it. And I want people to experience and encounter the power of the living God, the Holy Spirit, the breath of God, to breathe new life into their lungs, to proclaim life to the death that lives within them, so that life can breathe in and through them again, because that's what God has done for my life. So that's just one example, one encounter, and one story of what the Holy Spirit has so beautifully orchestrated in my life to work through me and to utilize his power and his presence to show himself and to reveal himself and to quite literally declare that he is Lord over my life, and that even when I'm unconscious, the Holy Spirit still reigns. So I just want to share that story because it's a beautiful testimony to the power of the Holy Spirit. And, you know, as I thought about sharing this video, it's tough because, you know, when I was younger, I would say like when I was a teenager, I started to question, you know, my faith in God. And then when my parents ended up getting divorced and my family broke apart and I had to, you know, like it was a very take sides kind of thing. It was a very unhealthy breakdown of our family. You know, from there, my perspective of love was shattered. So my perspective of God was shattered as a byproduct of that, because if God is love and love, I don't see it being fulfilled and real, how can God's everlasting, unconditional agape love be real also? So, you know, I share that to say my mom and my dad, you know, they're both believers, but they're divorced. And their marriage didn't work out, but both of them, to this day, are walking with God. And what is so beautiful about that is they could have left the faith. They could have left their faith. My dad could have walked away. My mom could have walked away. And the breakdown of their marriage, the breakdown of the fabric of, you know, a loving couple that have 4 children together, that could have ended their relationship with God. But both of them are still walking with God to this day. And I'm just so grateful that they are. And I'm also just so grateful that, you know, I remember when I was young, my dad always used to say this, and I always questioned it, and I never understood it. He always used to say, you know, I believe in God because I've had experiences that God has revealed himself to me. I believe in God because I've experienced the Holy Spirit. I've experienced God. And I always thought, what is he talking about? Like, I couldn't relate to that because I hadn't encountered God in such a powerful and magnificent way for my spirit to be rocked, for my spirit to be shook to its core. But after that day and that download from the Holy Spirit, the prayer, him not going, my aunt asking me to pray, like the sequence of events and how they naturally and organically unfolded, you can't not believe in God. You can't not believe in the Holy Spirit when you encounter these things firsthand. Now, you might hear them secondhand and be like, you know, subjective, so on and so forth. You could have all these excuses. But until you open your heart and until you open your mind and until you release and surrender your spirit to the Spirit of God, nothing will change for you. So I'm pleading you, I'm praying for you, and I'm asking you to release and surrender to the Holy Spirit and let God have his way in your life, because when you do that, the Holy Spirit can do a work in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit that no man, no woman, no human can ever possibly do. And that work will radically transform you, renew you, and it will liberate you from so many fears, from your sin, from your doubt, from your anger, from all of the things that you're still holding on to that the Holy Spirit never designed you to hold on to. So I know who God is in my life. I know who the Holy Spirit is in my heart. And I've had many of these encounters now. This is not an isolated incident. I have countless countless encounters with the Holy Spirit where God has revealed himself to me. And I'm even in a season now where my faith could be it is being tested, and I could be walking in doubt and fear. And I'll be honest, I'm still releasing doubt and fear in my life because a rhema word that God gave me still hasn't come to pass yet. And I've questioned it many times, but I'm learning to let go of that questioning and just believe and have faith and believe in the rhema word that God has given me. So that's all I have for this video. I'm going to be posting a lot more on this channel. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe above, leave your comments, and share your story about how the Holy Spirit encountered you in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. And make sure to follow Yeshua, live for the King, live for Christ. Let go and surrender of everything that the Holy Spirit doesn't have for you, and then he can fill your cup with what he designed and desired you to have in the first place. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Cheers.